Today in this lecture I am going to talk about the epithelium. But before starting the lecture on epithelium, I want to explain the basic types of tissues in animal body or in human body. The animal body, or better I will call it human body, because this is the lecture on the human microanatomy or human histology. So all cells which are seen in animal body, same cells may be seen in human body. So these two words, the animal or the human, are interchangeable, but in this lecture I will talk about, or I will call it, human body. So before moving on epithelium, I will explain the four basic types of tissues in animal body. So these are the epithelium, these types of tissues I am talking about are basic or primary tissues. So epithelium, this is one of the four basic types or primary types of tissues. The connective tissue, the tissue which is working as glue and adhesive and connecting the cells or organs is the connective tissue. So this is the second basic tissue type of the human body. The third type of tissue is the muscle tissue. This type of tissue is having a smooth muscle, skeletal muscles, and the cardiac muscles. And fourth basic type of tissue is the nerve tissue. So four basic tissue types are the epithelium tissue, the connective tissue, the muscle tissue, and the nerve tissue. In this lecture I will talk about the epithelium or epithelial tissue. This epithelial tissue type is a diverse group of tissues which is covering the animal cell or human body, which is covering the cells which are covering the animal body or human body. So what is epithelium? What is the meaning of epithelium? The word is formed by epi, theli plus im. So word epithelium is formed by the epi, theli, im. Epithelium. The meaning of epi is on or above or upon. Theli is used for the nipple. So this Greek term is derived from the membrane above the nipple. So epithelial tissue is a diverse group of the cells which are covering the human body, covering the human body. And what is epithelial tissue? In simple language, these are sheets of cells. These are sheets of cells and tissue. The epithelium is very rich in cells. Rich in cells with very few extracellular matrix. So, a very rich population of cells forming the sheets of cells having very few extracellular matrix and covering the human body, covering the organs. Human body is covered by epithelial tissue. The organs may be covered by the epithelial tissue. The tubes like the tubes of the respiratory tract, tubes of the gastrointestinal tract, and tubes of the blood vessels, either may be arteries, veins, capillaries, or itself the heart, all are covered by this type of tissue, the epithelium. So these are large sheet of cells with very few extracellular matrix. This type of tissue is called as the epithelium tissue or the epithelial tissue covering the human body. The organs, the tubes of the body. So covering the body, the organs, the tubes, and also forming the glands. The glands are modification of epithelial tissue. These are modification of tissue, epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue is covering the body, the organs, the tubes, and forming the glands. So these sheets are having multiple functions. So what are the functions of epithelial tissue? Secretion. These are basic functions of this type of tissue. Secretion. Selective absorption. So secretion, it may secrete some enzymes or some ions. It can absorb substances. Selective absorption, secretion, protection. The example of protection is the skin. The skin itself is formed by the epidermis and dermis. The epidermis part of the skin is formed by the epithelium, where it is playing key role in protection of the body from the mechanical or biological and chemical substances like the bacteria, viruses, or some chemicals like the alkali and acids, and some mechanical injuries like the abrasions or some other types of injuries. So secretion, selective absorption, protection, and exchange of gases. So these are the very basic type of functions of the epithelial tissue: secretion, selective absorption, protection, exchange of gases. There are some special features which are seen only in epithelial tissue. This type of tissues are devoid of the blood vessels and capillaries. So devoid of the capillaries. So nutrition or receiving nourishment from the surrounding tissues. So nutrition by diffusion. So this is the introductory lecture on the epithelium. In next lecture I will talk about the types of cells, what is simple and what is complex type of the epithelium, and how these cells are forming the epithelium, and what are the cell junction.